Hey, what's up, everyone? Today's the 17th of January, 2024. We're going to talk about Brad Garlinghouse, who is the CEO of Ripple, and how he's putting Gary Gensler, who is the chairman of the SEC, on blast. This man is saying that Gary is a political liability. And why would Brad say such a thing? Let's go into this article, see what CNBC is talking about, what they got to say about it. Then we'll look at the chart for XRP, and we'll see whether or not we can drop a price prediction on the market. So, title reads, Ripple CEO calls U.S. SEC Chair Gary Gensler a political liability. He put Gary on blast at the World Economic Forum, which is going on in Davos right now. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse fired off criticism at the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman Gary Gensler on Tuesday, calling him a liability. Now, either you're an asset or a liability on the balance sheet. He's calling Gary a liability, meaning that he's hurting the reputation, the perception of the SEC. The comment from Garlinghouse was directed at Gary over the SEC chief's track record on regulating the crypto industry, lengthy delays to approving a spot Bitcoin ETF, and high-profile lawsuits against companies like his, Ripple. Gary is literally going crazy with how he's trying to hone in on the crypto industry. He's trying to literally go after businesses, companies, delaying processes for getting Bitcoin approved for ETF. All for what? Because this is a brand new industry that is going to flourish. But he sees Gary as being a linchpin, something that is holding back this progression within the US. You have other crypto regulated friendly countries out there that is literally taking in this new technology. But all of a sudden you have Gary of the US Securities and Exchange Commission not willing to adhere or take a liking to this new technology. And I quote, I don't think the chair of the SEC, Gary Gensler, I do think the chair of the SEC, Gary Gensler, is a political liability in the United States. And I think he's not acting in the interest of the citizenry. He's not acting in the interest of the long-term growth of the economy. He's talking about crypto and how it's going to merge with the economy. And I don't understand it. This is what he told when he was at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. And I quote again, I think at some point there will be a new chair of the SEC, and I think that will be a good thing for the American people. He thinks. I don't know, maybe he knows something that we don't know. Maybe there's things going on in the background that is going to get Gary Gensler out the way. Because with everyone else on board, you have the economy on board, you have many people pushing for Bitcoin ETF, other spot ETFs. They're trying to merge this technology with their infrastructure of business. But you have Gary here who's dropping lawsuits on literally everything, trying to state that this is a security, that this business sold unregistered securities, and taking long delays on determining whether or not a particular cryptocurrency is a security or not. At some point, Gary will get out the way. Now, the question is, who will be replacing him? Hopefully, it will be someone who is friendly to the cryptocurrency market, because that is the future. Utilizing crypto is going to be the future, just like utilizing AI is going to be the future. Don't try to hog tie this technology. You cannot do that. If the economy wants it, if the American people wants to utilize this cryptocurrency, then you just need to shape an outer wall or a fence to ensure that many people don't get hurt. But you got to embrace it. You got to allow it to flourish, because if you don't, the other countries of the world will take hold of this technology and beat you. You'll just see more people flock to that other country because they want to utilize this technology. Like Max Kaiser, he left and went to El Salvador because it's crypto friendly for Bitcoin. Last week, the SEC approved a spate of spot Bitcoin ETFs, paving the way for the products to begin trading. But Gary Gensler has repeatedly expressed concerns about the risk of approving Bitcoin ETFs, stating that cryptocurrencies trade on unregulated markets and are vulnerable to price manipulation. Like, both of those two things that he's talking about occurs even on the regulated exchanges. Like, did he not see GameStop, AMC, all of these regulated exchanges? How can you have price manipulation on these exchanges then, Gary? Like, those are moot points. You cannot try to justify how cryptocurrencies are being traded on one exchange unregulated from his perspective, his viewpoint. But then we could go to your regulated exchange and even show you that price manipulation is going on there too. A day before the Bitcoin ETF were approved last week, Twitter, the account of the SEC, posted a statement saying that it had greenlit such a financial instrument, but then later proved to be a false announcement, as the SEC disclosed its account has been compromised by hackers. The ETFs were approved after the SEC was defeated in court over a lawsuit that sought to squash the Bitcoin ETF application of digital asset manager Grayscale. Man, Gary's taking nothing but L's. This man has been suing left and right, and a majority of all of the cases that he's sued other entities with, he's lost. One of the definitions of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And I quote, that is from Brad, describing what he perceives as Gensler's ongoing campaign against crypto. I think Gary Gensler is doing the same thing over and over again, and he thinks that somehow he's going to win in court. He has continued to lose in court instead. Brad is putting Gary on blast at this World Economic Forum. Last year, look at that, the SEC launched lawsuits against 3 major cryptocurrency exchanges, Binance, Coinbase, Kraken, stating or alleging that they had sold unregistered securities on their platforms. The lawsuits are ongoing. Ripple also is fighting the SEC in a lawsuit of its own, launched in 2020 on grounds that the firm and its executives illegally sold XRP tokens and, you guessed it, unregistered securities. Charges against Garlinghouse and fellow executive Chris Larson on the same counts were dismissed in October. Like, come on, at some point, Gary, you're just gonna have to lay down and die and just let it go. Don't put up this fight. Your perception, your image of what you're placing on the SEC is not looking good. People will not forget what you, Gary, I'm talking about Gary, and the SEC has done with this advancement of this technology. All they can see is that you're trying to throw darts at a wall, so hopefully it will stick on something to justify your case that cryptocurrencies are securities, and that everyone who is offering these cryptocurrencies are selling them as unregistered securities outside of the SEC. And I think he was even reluctant into approving a spot Bitcoin ETF. But he was forced to do it. If it was left up to Gary and Gary alone, it wouldn't be a spot Bitcoin ETF. But the demand for this ETF, for this product, it was so strong that he had to cave in. I mean, even BlackRock, who has trillions of dollars under assets under management, even got in on this game. The floodgates are now open. And Gary is like literally the one sole piece of stone that is trying to keep the flood back, and it's not working. And Brad is trying to literally say, look, let it go, embrace this, because it's not going anywhere. Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies is not going anywhere. What Gary needs to do is sit down and come up with a way that will make this technology, cryptocurrencies, friendly, and as much as possible try not to harm many people. Now, that is where he can be useful. I'm going to talk about Gary in this new technology and trying to formulate a highway or a road to where people can actually transact with this new technology. And people will remember him for that, rather than be remembered in a negative way, which is someone who is lawsuit happy, who just wants to drop lawsuit on everything crypto related. Now let's get back to this chart. All right, you guys can see right here that we didn't do a price prediction on our last video in XRP, which was on the 14th, 3 days ago in January. Now, what do we think here? Currently, I still see price trending down in XRP. Okay, price currently is still weak. We still have these two sell zones here that hasn't been breached, and we got two buy zones down here. So let's see if we could get something on a different time frame for XRP. It doesn't look extremely bullish right now, I must admit. Here it is on the 3-day chart. It doesn't look extremely bullish here. Here it is on the 5. We saw right here on this 5-day bar, price in XRP trending up, but then immediately the next 5 days it came right back down. And this is in combination with these other 5-day bars. Okay. Here it is on the weekly time frame. Let's take a look at XRP on the 2 weeks. XRP on the 3. Here's XRP on the 5 weekly time frame. Let's look at this on the monthly chart since we're halfway there. And now we're getting a probable precursor to strength. So again, I'm kind of torn into what we can actually see into the market in XRP. It's not really moving. It's not giving us anything to be happy about. Okay, so right here on the 330-minute chart, I think I created this on my last video. That's a sell zone. That's pretty big. Volume came through. Market in XRP still couldn't hold. Could not even trade back up to that sell zone right there. Instead, it created another lower sell zone. So if I had to say anything, as of this particular moment, I think XRP is a little weak. Just a little weak. Now, we're going to put that on the chart though. Okay, we're going to look for price in XRP to go lower. First target, this first buy zone. Okay, we can see the buyers approach the market in XRP again, like they did here. So anywhere within this buy zone, either at the high or the low, will be our target. 4.5% on the low. Then our second target is going to be at the second buy zone, which is down here between 51.5 cents to like 48.5. Okay, anywhere within that high or the low of the buy zone would be our target. 15.3% on the low though. So let me go ahead and do that. Extend this over just a little bit, and we'll just see. Like I said, I'm torn between, okay, how strong is the market in XRP, because it's not that strong, but it's also not that weak. So I think we may just get more trading within a range, trading sideways, and then hopefully one day we'll see, man, those sellers really hit the market, and we would see our price prediction come to fruition. Or we could say, those buyers really came through and held that buy zone there, and we can come through, fix our price prediction now, and look for price to go up in XRP. But as of right now, it could be like 50-50. Give me your thoughts. Make sure you maintain the profitability, and as always, trade different.